State 48 Roofing, it's your call question of the day. What's a better job right now? The athletic job, the athletic director job. Arizona or Arizona State? What's the better athletic director job? Because you have an interesting situation as both these schools are looking for ADs at such a critical time for both schools. David Hickey is let go at Arizona. We know what happened with Ray Anderson back in November where he stepped down. But you look at Arizona State, you got the black cloud over that school with the investigations. You got a brand new head coach, football. You hear what's going on in Tucson. Same situation, but they're having money issues. Their head coach bolts to Washington. There's a lot going on. But the difference between these two schools is their presidents. You look at Robert Robbins. He's a hands-on guy in athletics. He likes it. He likes being part of it. Whereas Michael Crow, he rather, build a science school or something. He doesn't care about sports, even though he played sports.
He did.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah. But when you look at this, you're going into a situation where your conferences are falling apart, or they have fallen apart. Now you're heading to the Big 12. Where do you go? I mean, where do you go with this? What's a better job?
You know what? It literally, you have to weigh out, put the pros and the cons, and see what weighs out. My initial reaction when you put this on there, Rock, was the woes and financial woes going on at U of A. Dr. Robbins or not, I think he's got to bear some of the responsibility for the mishandling of what's going on down there. And then for ASU, I sit there and go, well, to your point, there's still a recruiting scenario coming down the pike. Who's got the upside? Who's this? Who's that? Then you look at all the programs at U of A are in pretty good shape. You look at U of A's football, come off a hell of a year. Look at their basketball, their softball, women's softball, women's basketball just won a title. There's all that surrounds it. But man, that's a tough call. After it's all said and done, I just, who do I feel if I take has got the most upside? If, to your point, I get my boss, Michael Crow, to buy in to say, we need to do this, and this to bring ASU back or to fruition because that's our money generator.
All right, land the plane.
I'm going ASU because I'm going to Arizona State.
I'm going to also pick ASU. My reasoning is a little different than maybe Manuch because he referenced $250 million in debt. I don't see somebody on a white horse coming in to take care
anytime
of that
soon.
Debt load, correct? And I would rather take my chances with the NCAA investigation where they say, okay, you've lost 5 recruits, 1 year penalty, you can't go to a bowl game. Okay, I'll take that in comparison to having to deal with the overburden of the financial aspect.
I'm going to take against you guys, and I'm going with Arizona. I would rather have my president love sports.
Okay.
Easier to get things sold, done. Plus, you're a big fish in a little pond. You can turn things around quicker. You're not competing against the dollars in this market in Phoenix. You're competing against the Tucson dollars. I think that's the key. I think the fact is your AD is basic. Your president is on your side. And when you look at what's going on in Arizona State, we don't know what this investigation could happen. They could be put on some type of probation. Then you're not going to be able to bring in anybody.
Well, my question to you, Rock, is will you have the money to bring in good quality people, keep quality people, have the facilities? You might be cash strapped for 5, 6, 7 years. By that time, you might be gone as an AD.
You might have to be forced to cut sports programs as well.
And will he be around? Will the president be around?
There you go.
With this going on.
Yeah. Well, that's why that's an interesting question. Yeah. You can go vote on our Twitter page at Rock and Manuch. There's no right or wrong answer. But, right now the AD position is completely different. And you're not going to see an established AD from the Big 10, Big 12, or ACC come here. It's going to be somebody like from the MAC or Boise State or Mexico or Villanova. Somebody like that is where they're going to hire somebody. Maybe Fresno State or San Diego State. That's the kind of AD that's going to take one of these jobs.
I would agree, Rock. And on top, if you are qualified, overqualified, why would you take that knowing what we just talked about from the financial side?
Yeah, why do you want that mess?
That's
Yeah.
But if you're
the point.
if you're at Villanova right now, or you're at
Oh,
Fresno
yeah.
State,
It's a,
yeah.
man, you're going to Big 12.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're 30 years old and you're assistant AD someplace at a school like
no,
you're talking
no, I'm
about,
talking about they're the AD at those schools now.
you think so?
Oh,
You don't think they
you're
would
going
go
to
for
Big
an assistant?
12.
All right, I
An
know
assistant will get the job
I'm
at
well
Ohio
aware
U.
of that. Okay, so let's say that you are the assistant at, and I'll just
Alabama.
Alabama. You're
Yeah.
the assistant at Alabama.
You need to take a job at Central Michigan.
You wouldn't
or
take this.
Fresno State or
Okay.
Boise State.
Okay.
This is a Big 12 job.
Well, Alabama, you're participating in the
but
SEC.
you're an assistant.
I understand.
You're not shaking hands and kissing babies and fundraising.
I agree with you,
No,
Rob.
The
but-
AD is.
No, but does the president get a much better price because he's hiring somebody like that?
I don't know if the price is what it comes down to. These guys are all making a certain amount of money. They're making them a couple million a year, and it is what it is. I mean, anyway, it's an opportunity.
Yep.
Hey, we're going to catch up with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs next. Rock and Minuch, Jimmy B from Glendale's Twin Peaks.